Legend of the War here, and today we've got a rating year 1 Demon Doomstack playing as the Challengers of Khorne. We've got Billy the Bloodthirster here, who's just a generic Exalted Bloodthirster. And we're going up against the Wood Elves, which is probably the best test for this particular 1 Demon Doomstack because of all the missile units. The big 1 Demon Doomstacks, or 1 character Doomstacks, they're most vulnerable against high-powered missile units, such as Waywatchers. And so going up against it's a good test. Like, if you use this up against vampire counts as an example, you're going to absolutely mop the floor with them. Doesn't matter how much they bring. So, they are bringing more than 3 full stacks against us. I reckon the most dangerous units are definitely going to be the Waywatchers. Let's have a look at, is this character a worthy 1 Demon Doomstack? Let's have a look at what he's got. So we've got the Trickster's Helm on him. He's got the Chainsword, so it's good to see that we're not using the Sword of Cain, because that just kind of makes things a bit boring. So that's providing Unbreakable and also huge amounts of weapon strength. I don't think having Unbreakable is essential for Bloodthirsters, because they're not spellcasters or missile units. You're not trying to avoid combat. If anything, you're trying to get into combat constantly. And so, even if you're the only flying unit around, that's fine as long as you're in melee. Got Talisman of Preservation and also the Iron Course icon. That being said, there's probably not going to be a better weapon, sort of like the Sword of Cain anyway, that's going to give you actual resistances, because that would be the best thing for him. Then if we have a look over here, we've got 36% ward save, 65% physical resistance, and 44% missile resistance, which I think that can get a fair bit higher. It largely depends on how many of the resources of furs that he's actually managed to acquire across the campaign. But that being said, if you combine the physical resistance and the missile resistance, that will give us 90% resistance. So the only ones that will be able to bypass that, it's actually not the Waywatchers, because their attacks are physical. It's things like Glade Guard Hagbane tips, but these ones here don't do that much armor piercing, so his armor sort of compensates him a little bit there. He's also got the the Nemesis Crown, but it's not fully maxed out. So I'm not entirely sure which level this is, but I think he can get an additional 10% hit points out of that, if I remember correctly. It's either 25 or 30% at the max level, I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, let's jump in here, see how he performs, and it's on maximum battle difficulty. And let's see if, a non-legendary lord can take out just a little bit more than 3 full stacks. And see how he performs. He's also got the Blood Feaster's banner, so that way he's got access to regeneration. Now the thing is with a character like this, is that you could make multiple of them throughout the campaign, because you could just transfer the equipment, except for the Nemesis Crown. Yeah, you kind of need the Nemesis Crown for something like this, otherwise you just don't have enough damage potential on infantry. So these guys here, I mean, you've got this ability here, but it's only 3 uses of it. Because in order to make any reasonable sort of 1 character Doomstack, you need to be able to mass kill infantry, and the Nemesis Crown is basically required for an Exalted Bloodthirster due to them not having other abilities to do so. This is sometimes why spellcasters are some of the best 1 character Doomstacks, especially ones that are also very good in melee, because that way they can just mass wipe out infantry. Otherwise you just end up getting ground down for ages fighting them. Alright, now, I think what we should do to make this guy really effective is get into the forest over here, because this will act as additional missile block to us. As I said, this is a dangerous opponent normally to go up against with a big character like this. This is also why sometimes the smallest characters are the best 1 character Doomstacks, such as like Ungrim Iron Fist, because yeah, they just wouldn't be able to bloody shoot him, he's too small. But by going into the forest here, we can block most of the shots with the trees. Also, if we could manage to get them to blob up, we could use the Nemesis Crown to take them out quickly. We definitely shouldn't be going after them in melee, because I don't think that's going to do anything. They'll just run away from us, and if they've got Waywatchers over there, if you go after a Waywatcher unit, what ends up happening is it runs away and it shoots at you, and you don't end up actually inflicting any damage, and they're shooting at you at point blank range, so they've got like 100% accuracy. Now I think this guy is going to be basically wasted with his weapon strength trying to attack infantry, especially when we just use the Nemesis Crown to take them out. However, we do want to inflict as many casualties as quickly as possible so that we can charge up the Chainsword. So we have a look over here, those Way Watchers, yeah, they're dishing out some damage. Definitely a little bit of a concern. Go for the Glade Captain, because that one there does have magical attacks. But when we hit it in melee, he's got dampened, so it gets rid of it. Right. Let's pop this down here to begin with. This will just get rid of a whole bunch of infantry, just because they're not quite as blobbed up as I'd like. And I want them getting closer to the edge of the forest, so that I can stay in the forest and still use this. This will also massively charge up our kill count, so that we keep increasing our weapon strength. Good. Good, good. Just want to make sure there's plenty of trees in the way. Yeah, you can definitely see a lot of shots are getting absorbed by the trees. But legend, the wood elves, they fight better in the trees. So, yeah, technically they do fight better in the trees, but it doesn't matter. If it's blocking some of their shots, then that's good for us. Alright, so they've got Deepwood Scouts there. Oh my god, 10 damage. It's actually ridiculously low. Way Watcher again, 200 damage. So even though that one's got physical attack, it's just because, like, it's just so much damage on each unit, that 10% of it is still quite a bit. Okay, and then of course we've got Widrioth coming in. So it's Arguelon and Widrioth, so they can have 60 units on the battlefield at any given time. Well, 20 for Arguelon and 40 for them. So if we take out all of these forces, they don't get extra to come in because they got more than 40. Okay, good. We brought them in a little bit closer so that I can use the ability in a moment. So that eagle would take one hit and die basically. I'm not going to use the Blade of Corn. Yeah, let's see if we can do it just on his own. So, Dexter no balance of power. But we've seen this before with one-man Doomstacks. That doesn't matter so much. Okay, don't get too close to them, because otherwise they try to fall back. While they're shooting at us, they don't try to dodge the ability there. Okay, one hit on this one should kill it. Good, and yeah, they took some casualties. So as they're taking casualties, that just means they're going to be reduced in how much ammunition they've got left. I think the Way Watchers ran out of ammo. Yeah, they did. Don't stand still. Just keep moving so that we can block as much shots as possible. Because the thing is, I don't need to be doing our actual attack animations. All we're going to do is be in melee, and the Mortis Engine effect will just be applied. So with huge amounts of mass, we can just punch through their infantry, no problem. Which, that's an advantage that big characters are going to have over the small ones. So like, if we had Ungrim Iron Fist in here, as an example, I wouldn't be able to do this, wouldn't it? Just keep moving. But the missile units probably wouldn't be able to shoot him, and in fact, they'd probably come into melee, which would be kind of ridiculous. This guy do much damage? No. And he had magical attacks. Good. 2 hits to kill one of them. Now, it is on large unit scale, so you know, when you lower down the unit scale, obviously it reduces the number of the entities, and also the health of our single entities as well, but also their weapon strength. So if we were playing on ultra unit scale, which the majority of submissions are ultra, but I don't mind it if large unit scale does get submitted from time to time, we would have probably about 14,000 health and 2,600 damage, roughly. That's just a bit of a guesstimate, if it was on ultra. Yeah, 14 or 15,000 health probably. Right, another Nemesis Crown abilities coming in soon. I'll pop it down on them because we might be able to finish them off. Because some of them still have quite a bit of ammo. And if we have a look over here, there, look at that. Oh no, it's looking at the wrong unit. This one here. That one has actually done some damage. Starfire Shafts, yeah, they're magical attacks. When there's a big blob in here, pop down the explosion. Good. I'm going to get into melee with these ones here, because I reckon we can finish them off. There's just not that many of them to skirmish away from us. And when they're routing, they're not going to spread out in different directions while routing. Now, if we come out on the forest, it's going to make it easier for them to hit us, but I also just really want to kill these guys. No, actually, we should get back into the forest. Those trees are just so good for blocking their shots. Would be nice to see how much regen we've got left. We used to have that in the UI for Warhammer 1 and 2, but in Warhammer 3 they took it away. Not that big of a deal, just I have no idea how much overall damage we've taken so far. So the total amount that he could potentially heal, I think would be about 7,000 or 8,000 health. Yeah, more like 8,000 health. Because you get 75%. That's the base battle healing cap. And then I don't think there would be anything that would augment it, because there's no defeat traits that augment battle healing cap. Except, you could argue Throt the Uncleans does that, because he increases your max health, which in turn increases your healing, how much you can potentially heal. But it doesn't increase the percentage of how much your max health can heal. Good. Balance of power has definitely been improving. And they've lost most of their forces at this point. Got more than 1,000 kills on him. But yeah, don't just stay there in melee. Because yeah, the nemesis ground just does all the work for us, because it's such a powerful Mortis Engine effect. Also, while you're moving around like this, it makes it really difficult for the melee infantry to actually hit you. Because you usually have to be standing still, because of just the way the animations work, right? Because they start up the attack animation, and because there's no, in vast majority of cases, sync kills, or sync animations, they start up the attack animation, and then they strike at where you were, but you're already out of the way, and so the damage just isn't applied. And they can't start their attack until they're actually technically in melee with you. And if, as long as you just keep moving, they can't actually land a hit. So, more Way Watchers there. They did not do very much damage, that's good to see. Now, our army would actually be much better, well, our one Demon Doomstack would be better if we were going up against like a huge horde of single entities, like if it was just loads of heroes, just because he can take them out quite easily. Or if it was a whole bunch of treemen, because he's got dampen, their magical attacks would just get stripped away. That being said, they'd take away his magical attacks. Although, if it was all single entities, the chainsword wouldn't be able to get charged up. God damn, that's a lot of damage. Good, no sign of the max regen. I mean, we haven't really seemingly been taking very much damage, but this does provide a fair bit of regen. Also, don't they have flaming attacks on some of their units? If they are hitting us with flaming attacks, it will reduce the amount of... reduce the regen rate, not the regen amount. Like the maximum amount that we can regen. That one did a fair bit of damage. But they're coming in closer. That will make it easier for us to get in there. Good. Doesn't look like there's any more reinforcements left to come in. Approaching 1,800 kills. I reckon the army losses is going to trigger very soon. And I don't want it to. I want to kill as many of them as possible. Yeah, okay, so the army losses got inflicted on Argwalon, but hasn't been inflicted on Widrioth just yet. But yeah, it's bound to happen real soon. Because yeah, I want to kill them all. So we don't want the army losses to actually occur. So, theirs seems okay. No sign of max regen. There's barely anything left of Arguelon. They're wiped out pretty much. So yeah, these ones over here, like they've got magical attacks, right? But we dampen that so that goes away. So then turns into physical attack. And their melee attack is only at 29. So our melee defense is so much higher than theirs. They wouldn't do anything. But those are supposed to be very tanky units. But that being said, melee defense 59 compared to our 98. Again, way stronger than it, even though we're fighting in the forest. Like, they've got no chance of hitting us, and we're basically 100% chance of hitting them. This is why it's totally fine for this one to be in the forest, because even with the terrain minus 19 or whatever it is, and the enfeebling foe, we've still got really high melee attack. Okay, there's the army losses. Just shy of 2,000 kills. Kind of makes me wish he had played this. No, I always wish he was playing on Ultra, because I think it's just a better unit scale. But I want to get that 2,000 kills. So let's see if we can get ahead of some of these and get them. Don't worry about using Bellow of Fury, that's not important. Let's see if we can get 2,000 kills. So easy enough to kill off the Treekin, but that's a total of 12 troops. Obviously we want a lot more than that. Come on, we're going to get those 2,000. Oh, come on, we're so close. We'll get the 2,000 if we finish this one off. I don't have any means of pinning them down. Oh. Because yeah, with that kind of weapon strength, a lot of it does go to waste when fighting against a bunch of infantry, because he just overkills most of them. Because he can only attack so many entities at a time. So additional weapon strength against infantry now, completely pointless. Not unless that infantry unit is something like the Crimson Killers or something that's like especially elite melee infantry. But even then, those units usually still have... They don't have like 1,000 hit points each. But something like a Wrathmonger, you know, a melee infantry unit that has low entity numbers, they tend to have a lot of hit points per entity. So that's where the extra weapon strength would be useful. And this is why we didn't sit around trying to just chop away at the war dancers or anything like that, because their overall hit points just isn't all that high. Alright, so we got 2,000 kills with this one, and yeah, he was at max health at the end of the battle. So we didn't use up 75% of our health. And reap their skulls. Why not? Okay, cool. Well, we don't need to worry about any of this other stuff over here. I just wanted to check out that one Demon Doom stack. So I already got the chance to go and have a look at all the defeat traits that he got. We've already seen what the good defeat traits are. He went and got them all, essentially. You know, Throt the Unclean, all the physical resistance one, including Skull Taker. And I guess that's why he's done this with Challenges of Khorne, because if you play a Skull Taker, then your Bloodthirsters can't get Skull Taker's defeat trait. But then again, you've just got this incredibly powerful Cloak of Skulls ability. You know, Archaon's defeat trait, Wurzag's defeat trait, all that kind of stuff. And then what he was able to do, and he explains in the email, was basically teleport Arbal around, and then he'd capture somewhere where he was wanting to get a defeat trait, and then just constantly bring this guy back, and take out the Lord that he wanted to get the defeat trait, and then respec it, so I think 3 turns before he comes back, then send him somewhere else across the map to go get another defeat trait. Anyway, guys, that's in this one. Okay, so I got to rate it firstly. It's pretty much 10 out of 10. He did a fantastic job. There's no real downside, I think, to getting the Nemesis crown on a one-man Doomstack, because you do suffer like relations penalty faction-wide, but you're playing as Khorne. Everyone hates you anyway, so that's totally fine. Increasing their upkeep cost by a bit, that's not a big deal. And all the bonuses that the Nemesis crown provides, in many ways it's better than the Sword of Cain, especially because of the crippling public order penalties that one provides. But yeah, getting that on any of your one-man Doomstacks is definitely a really good idea. Anyway, that's the end of this one here, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learnt something. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the Bloodthirster 1 Demon Doomstack. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next time. Later, guys.